Mike, turn your games down.
Hi, we're to episode 257 of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, who is spray painting with me tonight.
I'm the Electric Man, or I used to be called the Electric Man, the demon of Empire City, which I'm not in this game for some reason. The name's Cole McGrath. Oh, wait. It's Emanuel. It's Lionheart. Hey, hi.
And where can people find you at?
People can find me over on twitch.tv/Commander maybe, perhaps, and or youtube.com/Commander maybe, perhaps.
And who else is with us tonight?
Hi, I'm Barry. I've been here multiple times, and I'm happy to talk about Infamous once again.
And Michael Colby from Jack Billings Presents Haunted Apartment Complex and This Bizarre Adventure, and I'm ready to talk about a very fun but kind of boring game.
Ooh, we're getting right into it.
Mike has me on here just so that I can start fights. He knows it makes a more interesting podcast.
I mean, it does.
Oh, man.
No, you would. And actually, it's your first time joining us. So Emanuel's been with me since the beginning. Barry joined me for Infamous 2. And now we get to the last full game of the series.
First Light's... It's just
DLC.
It's not DLC. It's just a shorter version, a shorter experience than this one. But it's not
a retail release.
Yeah, it got a retail release and everything.
And it's also better.
I will
Yes,
agree.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
First Light was real. I played First Light years ago, and I did like it a lot. But I can't say that. But it's been a while.
It had an interesting story, unlike this game.
I disagree. I like the story in this game. I like Delsin.
I like Delsin fine, but the story is not good, and the good evil like scale really worked for Cole, but it didn't seem to do a lot for Delsin. Like I felt like he wasn't that much different, no matter how you played this game.
Okay, and we're talking about Infamous Second Son, developed by Sucker Punch, published by Sony, came out in 2014 for PS4, and is still stuck on the PS4.
I mean, hey, it's better than Infamous 1, 2, and Festival of Blood, which are stuck on the PS3. Let's be real, Mike.
That's true.
You're
If the PS5 is
not
backwards
wrong.
compatible.
Yeah, you can at least play this on PS5, true backwards compatibility.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
PS4
Okay,
discs
then
going
that-
Every
that
PS4... Well, almost every PS4 game you can play on PS5.
I didn't know that. I don't have a PS5 yet. Even though, like, on Black Friday, I went to a Walmart and I saw what I'm like, it had Spider-Man 2, and I'm like, I didnn't do it, but I was like,
Which,
Which is why you should get the physical PS5, because you can play all physical PS4 games on it.
Well, I would.
Just like that.
I always buy physical consoles. I just don't buy a physical PC.
That's
So I can't. But
hey, by the way, speaking of Marvel Spider-Man 2, since there hasn't been a new Infamous game since First Light, Spider-Man 2, I've played it and platinumed it, and it kind of almost feels like a spiritual successor to Infamous.
That Forsaken is the spiritual successor.
That hurt me to hear.
Why? That was a good game. It had an okay story, but the gameplay was fine. It was just an open, boring world. But it felt like Infamous.
Mm-hmm. There is, like, if you've played Spider-Man 2, you know exactly why I'm talking about it. Because it's more so like spiritual successor to Infamous 1 and 2. Because there are a lot of abilities and stuff that just remind me of those games.
I can see that with the symbiote thing.
And Miles.
Miles
literally is Cole.
Electricity.
Yeah, I think Miles. I think the Miles Morales game is a better Infamous sequel than either of the two like mainstream Spider-Man games. I just like Miles Morales better than the other two.
That's fine.
Okay.
So I had never played this before until this past week. I bought this game twice. I realized, not on purpose, but I have 2 copies of this game. So I was like, damn it, I need to play this finally. So we did Infamous 2 earlier this year. We did the Infamous Festival of Blood finally earlier this year. That was garbage. Go listen to our episode. Me and Emanuel bitch about it for half an hour. But, and then, so I was excited to finally play this because, well, I bought it twice. So I was like, and I didn't know what to expect. I mean, I wasn't sure if I was going to enjoy it. I also played Gotham Knights the week before this and had to play Assassin's Creed Brotherhood the week after this. So I was kind of right in the middle open world games.
Jesus Christ, Mike.
It wasn't on purpose. It was on purpose, but it wasn't supposed to be. It was an accident.
It was on porpoise, yes.
So you played a better open world game in Brotherhood and a worse one in Gotham Knights, and this one's smack dab in the middle.
It's almost right, but yes.
I can't talk about Gotham Knights because I've only played like a few minutes of it. One day I'll actually like play it, but you know.
You only really need to play a couple minutes of it. You get it.
I know.
But that's a different episode.
I know.
That was last week's. Emanuel, what is your history with this game?
So this game was actually my first PS4 game that I played, I believe. Back when I bought my PS3 died in the middle of me playing Trails of Cold Steel 1. And
the pain.
No, I had actually like finished the game. I was just going for a platinum run. And
okay,
like
so at least you saw the story through.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
That's such a good
yes. One day, Mike. One day.
I'm going to one day.
Anyways,
I'm there.
But yeah, my PS3 just crapped out. It was like, I think that it was around this time of year too. Like it just crapped out and all that. So I bought a PS4. I believe that it was like around Black Friday time. And I don't know if I already had Infamous Second Son or not, because over here in Puerto Rico, GameStop was like going out of business here. So I just bought a lot of games like on discount and all that stuff because they had to get rid of the stock. So I bought like games even for PS4, even though I didn't have a PS4. I don't remember if I bought it at that point. I just know that looking at my trophies and all that, like Second Son was my first PS4 game that I played. And it was like, it was like super cool playing it back in the day. And it's still super cool to play it, or cool to play it now.
I loved it every second of this game. So
okay. So here's my thing, because before I started playing Second Son, I played Spider-Man 2, and I just gave like a week of breathing room because I was like, this is probably gonna be jarring for me to go from Spider-Man swinging across the city and all that, and all that, like fast movement and all that, to going back to the Infamous formula. And I will say that it wasn't as jarring as I thought it would be. It's still, a bit rudimentary nowadays. Also, for some reason, and I know I complained about this on Festival Blood, and I'm gonna complain about this again here. For some reason, I don't know why the fuck these Infamous games look so dark. Even though I put up the brightness, I put up the contrast and all that, for some reason, in a lot of scenes, like when I booted up the game, I don't know why, but it looked darker than it should have.
Okay.
And I don't know why.
And what about you, Barry?
My experience with this game was, I think was it a launch title, or it was really early in the PS4?
Yes.
It was launch title.
First games, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it was the first game I played, because I got a PS4 at launch. And I know I got Lego Marvel Superheroes and this, and I think then Knack. And
God, Knack.
And the PS4 launch wasn't the greatest, right? So I loved Infamous 1 and 2, and I was like, all right, so I'm gonna, this is gonna be the real showpiece for the PS4. And while technically in terms of graphics it wasn't a huge leap up from the PS3 360 era, but it was fun. It was more of the same. I loved Infamous 1 and 2, so I was like, all right, I'm going to enjoy this. And I don't think I had an open world game that I was currently doing, or it had been a little bit. So it was good to get into one of those. I think my biggest beef with this game going into it, like booting it up, and we talked about this before in the Infamous 2 episode, was the fact that apparently more people got the trophies for the good ending than the bad ending of Infamous 2, so they made the good ending canon, and I liked the bad ending infinitely better and thought it would be way more entertaining to see what happens next from that as a jumping off point. So to know, this is going off the good ending, and I was already like, I don't want to live in this timeline. I want to live in the other timeline to see what happens.
I don't remember the endings. We'll get there.
So can you imagine if at the end of this game you fought Cole, if he had lived or something?
Well, he kind of does live at the end of Infamous 2. I mean, there is that lightning bolt that hits the thing in the good ending. but they never followed up with that. Like that was a cliffhanger ended. But the bad ending where like Cole's leading the army and it's like going off. There's a conduits versus everybody else. I'm like, oh, that's such a cool idea. And like, almost like a Godzilla thing with like, the army fighting them and you playing like the bad guys, so to speak. But no, instead we got what we got, which was a good game. But again, it was not the ending. And to find out that the ending I liked was no longer canon and the ending that I didn't like was now canon, it annoyed me.
Okay.
But I did enjoy my time through, and I definitely enjoyed the characters and my entire playthrough.
Okay. And what about you, Colby?
Well, for me, Infamous 2 is an all-time game. Like, I love Infamous 2. I don't know why you would expect the bad ending to be canon, because that never happens. But so I was like, yeah, whatever. Whatever Infamous thing comes out, I'm going to get it. So after I was done with Assassin's Creed Unity, I think it was the next game that I played when I got my PlayStation 4. And I liked it a lot better when I played it originally, but just like so many of these games, when you go back to it, it's kind of rough sometimes. I think it plays really well, but the binary like good bad system just it never really worked, and it really doesn't seem to work here. It almost feels like it's doing nothing. And it's also really short for an Infamous game, which I was pleasantly surprised with this time, basically because the less I had to play this, the more I could play Alan Wake. But but yeah, the shortness I remember bothering me back when I was a not kid, but back when I played it originally, because you get an Infamous game, you're expecting a lot of stuff, and this story felt rushed. It felt rushed, and like in between, when you're doing missions, it's like really repetitive, like the other stuff that you're doing. And I don't know. It feels like there's not enough there. It feels like they focused more on making it like look cool and play well, which I appreciate because it's a fun game to play. But that, like, as far as a story, it didn't do anything for me.
Okay. Man, my experience completely different.
I will say that the game, you also got to remember, like, since it was a kind of a launch game, it was also like, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm sure you did, that they use a lot of the gimmicks for the controller, like the whole tilting and
I
and all that.
Forgot it could do that.
Yeah, this game, like, that was required because it was like a launch title. So it was like I know that, Mike, you don't have a PS5, but to put it like that, it would be like kind of like an Astro's Playroom, like,
okay,
I
understand the metaphor,
a demo of sort.
Astro's Playroom was really good, though.
Astro's Playroom does rule.
Yes, it does.
But I get the metaphor you're going for.
Yeah, but
I mean, hell, the first time I had to spray paint, I was like, "What the fuck?" It's like, turn your controller to the side. I'm like, "What?" And shake it. I'm like, "What?"
And shake it.
Yeah, and
shake it and bake it, baby.
And that's pretty fun the first 2 or 3 times that you do it. And then by the 15th time you've done it, it's like, all right, fuck. Can we stop this, please? Is there a button to skip this?
I don't know if it's because I already knew about this time around, but the first time around that I played the game, I was so infuriated by the goddamn spraying and tagging thing. Like, I just could not. This time around, since I knew what was coming, I was like, okay, it didn't bother me as much. It's still not great, but,
Okay, no, that's fair. So I had a weird experience. I did something I never do in games. I 100% of this open world.
Nice.
Wow.
I don't say that often on this podcast. I did. I mean, there wasn't a ton. I mean, like what Colby said earlier, like, this isn't the biggest open world game I could have got my hands on or anything of that nature, but I was just having a blast. And I just kept playing. I did all the side missions. I 100%ed each of the maps and ended up 100%ing the game with all like the side stuff you can do in the open world. I mean, there wasn't a ton, and I appreciated it, but I just fell in love with the gameplay, everything with this game. I mean, I was sad that we're not Cole McGrath, that we're playing as some other guy who is apparently a conduit sponge, and that's fine.
Basically rogue. A less cool rogue. Let's call it.
No, that's fair. You're not wrong.
There's it's kind of one of those positives and negatives when you have a character like that, because the positives are there's so much you can do with them because they have this plethora of abilities that they could obtain. But at the same time, the negative is they don't actually have any of their own. It's, like there's no kind of personification of themselves. They're like the lesser of other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think like he had an identity, but his identity was his character, which is perfectly fine in a normal thing, not his powers. Like Cole, we knew his power, knew who he was, but if you ask people, you remember Cole from Infamous? Oh yeah, the electric guy. Yeah, he had those electric powers. Like people are gonna remember that before they remember parts of his personality.
Well, with Delsin, also the fact that you have 3 different powers. I before playing this game, I had no idea it was anything but Smoke Guy with a chain. I had no idea that Neon was something he could do, or that he could do the weird internet thing later on.
That's so dumb. The video power is so fucking stupid.
But I didn't know any of that was in this game.
And those are cool.
Yeah. No, I loved them. I was just shocked.
It is neat that he can do that, but like switching back and forth and then having to power up the different powers different ways is kind of a pain in the ass. And really, you only want Neon anyway, so there's already a game where you're only playing as the Neon person, so why are you playing this to begin with?
I only used video once I got it near the end of the game. I was all video.
Wow!
And I was loving the video power. I thought that was the best.
You never cease to amaze me.
I mean, once I got the video power, I don't know what it was with the ability to summon angels or what the hell, but that became my go-to power, and I didn't switch to anything else if I could help it, only by accident.
Wow, that's the first time I've ever heard somebody say that.
You guys don't like it? You guys?
I like the video power too, but
video power's fine. Neon power is the one that.
Neon
power,
it's the best.
Neon is just so good, and it makes you move fast, which is what you want to do in these games. The faster you can go in an Infamous game, the better. That's why, I tried to play Infamous 1 again not that long ago, and it takes so long before you get the ability to, grind the electric poles. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, no, wait a second. Does Infamous suck? And it's because you couldn't go fast. And Neon allows you to do what you want to do in this game, and I don't understand liking video. It's like liking concrete. What a dumb power.
Oh, the concrete was terrible. I mean, yeah. I didn't use it 100% of the game
so good
already before I went to fight the final boss, so at that point I was like, well, there's no point. I just have this power that I'll use one time and then I'm done.
Abigail made concrete look so good, and you using it is so bad. It sucks.
Yeah, it's really, and it's the last one that you get, so it should be the good one, but it's the worst one.
Mm-hmm. That's the way it is with a lot of games, right? You fight a boss and it's like, this guy's kicking my ass, and then you finally beat them and they join your team and they're like, oh man, I'm gonna wreck everything, and then they die to the first random enemy you fight, and you're like, what happened to you? Why you neutered? You were supposed to be big and bad and awesome with thousands upon thousands of HP, and you're terrible.
You were the chosen one.
Yeah, that's a real video game ass thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, totally.
I mean, I don't know. I fell in love with all the powers. I mean, the smoke I like, but I don't like it that it takes away from him after a while, that it doesn't matter. After a point in this game, I thought that was a little bit of just a mistake, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Cole, like you guys are saying, Cole is the electric guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, having 3 powers is fun, and it made the game better, but it took away Delsin.
Totally doesn't make the game better. I was going to say that this game suffers from doing too much, trying to do too much. I think the reason that the first 2 Infamous games are so good is because Cole's the electric guy. So everything you do is in service of your electric powers. But when you have 4 powers, you're splitting it up, and then you never really get as good as you want with any of those powers. And it's all right, well, let's do this, and then we have to do this for these enemies, and if we want to snipe, we use Neon, and if we want to go in head first, then you use concrete. And it's it's like, no, Cole's powers were great because everything was electric, and it's like, oh, you learn how to do this, so now you learn your like headshot sniper beam thing, so you can do that, and then you have a shield, so you can do that, and like it just seemed to work better. I just felt like them doing all the powers and trying to. I just feel like this game was trying to do too much, and it ended up, like Delson, not being a master of any of them, which it's still fun to play, but like I'll take Festival of Blood over even this.
That I disagree. That I 100% disagree with. But no, I see what you're saying though. Now, I do think I know where they were going with, and I understand what they were really trying to do. And like Mike said, they can be better. But I think when you deal with an array of powers, you have to make them unique, but you have to be able to do everything with every power. And when you can't, and you're forced to switch, it kind of, unless you've got the rhythm down, it kind of takes you out of it, because it's like, oh, I have to switch. Hold on. No, I'm using the wrong power. Now I'm getting hurt. And it becomes more complicated than it needs to when you just want to run around and beat up bad guys and have a good time.
I'm going to make a very dumb comparison here. But it's not as bad, but it's kind of like Donkey Kong 64, where you had to
No, I thought of Donkey Kong 64 when Mike was talking, so you're not a dumb comparison.
Okay.
I like DK64 for the record, but I get it.
No.
Oh yeah, DK64 was awesome.
That sounds like someone who was a child in the N64 era.
Exactly.
High school in the N64 era. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's somebody that's telling me they want to play it here.
Yeah, that's too old to like DK64.
No, that's not too old. You can go shut yourself in the corner and think about what you just said. That just shows. See, that when you're in high school or younger and you don't have disposable income and you have a game and that's your game for like 3 months before you get another one, that's when DK64 is fantastic, because there's enough replay value because you're doing everything. When you've got a billion other games to play, it's not as good.
I'm glad you admit that it's not as good.
I also skipped the N64 generation almost entirely.
Oh, then you have no place to talk. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. You missed out on great games.
Doesn't ever. Just to warn
you. I mean...
Okay.
That's too old to like DK60. What the hell? You're never too old to like any game. I'm sorry. What are you, 5?
See, you're welcome, Mike. I told you I was going to bring some... I told you I was going to bring some controversy to the podcast.
That's not controversy. That's stupidity.
Hey, now I found someone. Hey, Barry, if you need an excuse to replay Donkey Kong 64, that's one of the games on my list. I know I should play one day. I don't want to, but I know I should. So now I know somebody. The bug.
See, DK64 would be a lot better if they added in quality of life improvements. But they probably won't ever do that because Nintendo.
They will in the version I'm going to play.
Well, with save states or.
Oh, that, and there's a modded version of it where you can switch at any time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well,
that's
so it makes the game. I've heard a lot more
problems with that game. But anyways, let's go back to Infamous.
Yeah, let's talk about Infamous. Holy moly!
So okay, now I know why this game has so much freaking. Tilt the controller, use the top part of the screen to open up doors. Like, I was really confused. Like, why are you making me do this? Because I forgot this was a launch game.
Yeah, this is the equivalent of Ratchet and Clank Tools of Destruction. That game was also basically just a showcase of what they wanted to do with the goddamn six-axis control for the PS3. And this is the equivalent to it.
Oh, need I say anymore?
I really want to play Lair one day, by the way.
I killed that studio. They did that with other things like Uncharted Golden Abyss was like that for the Vita, and a lot of early games do that. Yeah. Like, here's the gimmick of the system. We're gonna try to force it, and then we're gonna forget about all of those. Like,
I think that's
for the Switch, and then
yes, that I was thinking about that. I think that the one that like obviously, and we already mentioned it, like is or has been like majorly praised for doing that, and it's because it's technically not a complete super long game or anything. It is Astro's Playroom or Astro's Yeah. Astro's Play? Yeah, Astro's Play.
Yeah. And
it was also free, too.
Which was also free and came with the console. So.
Yep. And also, it was like very short. I think I platinumed that thing in like 3 hours or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, a better one than even Astro's Playroom, though, is honestly Wii Sports. That's probably the best one out there.
Yeah, I agree with that. I still play Wii Sports. Like, I have a tennis profile that's like level like 600 something.
Jesus.
Because I play a shitload of Wii Sports tennis.
Because it was done right. And if this was done right, I think it would be better. But a lot of people don't like gimmicks that are like they're hammered in for the sake of hammering them in when they disrupt the gameplay. If it feels natural, like Zombie U with the Wii U gamepad, like that felt natural. That was really cool. We had to look into your bag and the gameplay's still going on. And that was a really unique way to utilize the system's strength. This was not. This was shoehorned in for the sake of look at what the PS4 controller can do. And they were probably told by the higher-ups at Sony, you need to do this. And then afterwards, when they saw all the other studios, including Sony, abandon a lot of those things, they probably looked and said, WTF. Like, our game could have been even better if you didn't just open up your mouth about this. And we could have just done it without it.
Yeah, it's the classic case of like studio interference with these
grew
games.
on me after a while. Like, the spray painting, the first time I did, I thought it was ridiculously stupid. It did upset my dog. I thought that was funny. She didn't like the sound coming from the controller. She'd look at it like, what the hell is happening here? And I'm just like, shake, 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 shake. And yeah, that amused me. Upset my cats too at first. They're like, what are you doing? Sound don't come from that. What is going on? But it was really funny. I got looks from all my animals. But I mean, at first it kind of shocked me. But after a while, I'm like I got used to it and I liked it. Like, I look forward to doing all the little spray paint things. And I'm also really was curious, is that how they actually spray paint? Like, put boards over and spray? I'm assuming not, but it was cool.
Yeah, that's like a Banksy thing. That's like how Banksy does it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the stencils are something that they do in street art, but not like a lot of people. That was like during Banksy Mania. That was when everybody loved Banksy for some reason.
I mean, all the side stuff worked for me because it felt like it made sense. Like you're freaking just a punk. I mean, Delson's just a punk that got caught up in a whole situation because the general of this army is a bitch and decided to, even though I did the good choice and I turned myself in, she still puts concrete in everybody's legs and they're going to die because of it. Like, I like the reason to why you're doing stuff, even though you are, like I said, just a punk. But at least it's good motivation, I felt. I like his reasoning that he's just like, I just want to save my tribe. I just want to save my people because this asshole put concrete in them because of me. I mean, it would have made more sense had I picked the evil option than the good option, but, it's fine.
I
have no... It's fine. I mean, I wasn't playing this game for the story. I mean, I did the story, but I just fell in love with the gameplay. Once you guys are right, the neon, once I got the neon power, I couldn't stop using it until I got the satellite power. Then I was done once I got video power. I was just, having wings and running up a building was better to me than the purple. And because when you jump off a building, it was better to me.
I think that the problem with the video one is that there is, unlike in concrete and neon, there is no upgrade where it's infinite. Like, when you upgraded it to a certain level, the neon power, you could just run infinitely with the neon power. With the video one, if you were rising a building, you would stop like mid-flight.
Yeah, but I didn't know the neon power is infinite. Even though I maxed it out, I never paid attention.
Oh God, you don't read? Dude,
I didn't care. I went and I just got a reshard in this game I could get, so I ended up maxing my out. But I didn't care about the fact that the video screen he stops midway. I'm like, that's fine. You just restart it back up and keep going.
Okay,
didn't bother me.
Okay,
I was so happy in the video power and just taking people out. Even though I will admit the neon when you do the sniper scope thing and you shoot their legs or their head, that is really effective.
Yes,
but I don't know. I just really got into the video power once I got it. That was my go-to completely. I beat the game. Well, I tried to beat the game video power, but I did as much as I could.
Yeah, you guys should know by now that Mike plays video games wrong.
Yeah. They both should know this. They've been on the show multiple times. But no, that's how I mean,
There's
ended
no
up
right
clicking
or
for
wrong
me.
way to play it in an open world like this. You can play it whatever you want as long as you're having fun.
Well, I make games harder for myself by accident sometimes.
That's different.
That is true.
That I didn't do this time. This game was not harder for me by accident like I've done for other games. I don't know. I mean, the video power, the only bad thing about it to me is that you can't recharge it as easily because you have to find video screens.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Which is
But-
no. That was another thing. Like it's not like it's the rooftop video things. Like it's not like
Yes.
oh, there's a TV here. Why couldn't you just suck up the TV?
There's a lot of running for your life up buildings, recharging, and jumping back in the fight.
Yeah, it's
And that didn't bother me either because I usually would be at a point where I was almost dying. Like, it's a good time to run away anyway, go heal up and come back in this. So, because I don't cover in this game, I don't really I just run and shoot you until one of us is either I'm dying or you're dead and whatever comes first, and I run for my life. I saw gray screen a lot.
oh god, that's a lot of gray and death screens at the final boss. Because I was like, I don't know why. I was feeling like let's just get this over with.
So I take it you didn't 100% this game like me.
Mike, I already got the platinum back in 2016. I wasn't gonna do it again.
I didn't get the platinum, but I got 100%.
Doesn't matter.
How is that possible?
Well, I'm assuming you have to make some evil decision. I only played good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
there's
right.
trophies
I'm only a
tied
good
to-
person in games. I can't make bad decisions or evil decisions. It's hard for me. So I just don't ever do it in games.
Oh, well, then you missed out on the. I do agree that the best path in Infamous 2 is the evil path because Nyx is amazing.
Yeah, I just can't do it. Even in this game, I tried never to do anything that was evil karma. I always try to do good karma stuff. It's just what I do in games.
You miss out on some really fun stuff in games then.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Have you done the Mass Effect games yet?
Yeah, not in the show, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Then you never got to kick the reporter out the window?
No, I did not.
Ah, fun.
You never got to tell off a Reaper.
Oh,
I
yeah.
might have done that. But I don't know. I haven't played them in a long time. I only done one on this show, the first one on the show, and it's a terrible, terrible recording. I had audio issues. It's still up if you want to hear it, but it's not. I need to go back to that series.
Yeah, I've never done Renegade in the Mass Effect games either, so
I just can't play. I don't know. In this game, I didn't want to be evil. I mean, like Delsin, I feel like it could fit if you decide to go evil with Delsin because he's, like I said, a punk, so it would work. But
it would work better if there wasn't any morality in this goddamn game.
Yeah. You know what? You know what Infamous game doesn't have any morality? Festival of Blood.
Oh man.
That game was. I'm actually kind of okay sometimes that game's locked to PS3 after replaying it earlier this year. Like, I can stay on PS3.
However, if they ever do bring Infamous 1 and 2 over to like PS5, it should be included.
Yes, highly agree.
No, they'll just do like the Batman Arkham Origins. Forget about that redheaded stepchild.
That's the best
Arkham
game
Origins was not made by Rocksteady. That's why.
Oh, I know.
That's
That's the only reason they did
and
that.
yeah, I do agree. Arkham Origins is a good game. So
I really like the gang in this. I mean, you're not really fighting a gang. You're fighting DUP, which is the government. I thought that was a good antagonist and a good enemy, and they change up enough throughout the game that it doesn't. To me, it didn't get boring. Got annoying sometimes, but not boring.
I do enjoy fighting the government and the cops. I think that's the best enemy. Second best enemy after Nazis. Nazis, government, cops.
Ooh, you imagine Nazi cops?
I think when you're fighting the cops, you're mostly fighting Nazi cops, is my take on it.
Well, especially if you play Saboteur, which is also on the show.
The Saboteur.
That's a great game.
Yes.
But I don't know. I didn't like the turret guys that you get later on in this game just because they were annoying for me to fight. But other than that, I was like, I don't know, I had no problem with it. I like fighting in this game for the most part. I didn't miss the Reapers and that kind of stuff. Like I ended up was okay. I also think it's good that the dupe, whatever the hell their names are. The dupes have different powers. Like they are conduits too, just like you. Just with I thought that was cool.
I still think that that Infamous one had like the best like.
The Reapers, the garbage, the trash men, and
yeah, like at least in terms of like variety, like it wasn't.
I mean,
like
that was nice. One's a good game. Infamous 2, I didn't remember liking the enemy variety as much
because there wasn't that many.
Okay. No, this game I didn't get bored of it. I liked the whole idea of taking out like the different outposts. I thought that was fun to do, and then you eventually like take away all their control. And I mean, I do it in every open world game. If there's something for me to clear an area, I will clear said area every time.
Yes, the Assassin's Creed syndrome.
Yeah, except I skipped stuff in Assassin's Creed. I didn't skip anything in this one. But there wasn't too much of it.
It's short.
Yeah, there wasn't an insane amount of stuff. I think I beat this game in probably like 15, 16 hours. Like, that was great for me.
Yeah, I think it took me around that time too.
I mean, I didn't check, and I don't really know, but I feel like it was months. It wasn't long.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might have showed it on the save. I might save back when I beat this game a week ago and posted it. I can't remember though.
I don't know. I already deleted it from the PS5.
Damn, that was fast.
I don't know. Nowadays, if I've already like got into platinum or whatever to a game, I just immediately like Resident Evil 4, loved it, did all the playthroughs that I had to do, did separate ways. Immediately, as soon as I finished that, deleted out of my PS5.
Well, that makes sense. You gotta make room. I mean, I'm the same way. Once I beat a game,
exactly. I needed to make space for other games. Specifically Spider-Man 2, which was already a big game too. So
that's the problem with current gen stuff. Even with physical, it's like it has to be installed, and there's not enough room on a PS5, and always deleting stuff, and it's like, it's so frustrating.
I refuse to buy an external the hard drive. Goddamn stick thing, whatever.
Yeah, I don't replay almost anything. So as soon as I'm done with a game, it's gone. This game was gone. Yeah, I think as soon as I beat it, I was like, you know what? Let's toss this out. This never needs to be downloaded again.
I used to replay a lot of games, but I've like stopped doing it. Like as of recently.
Good games.
Yeah.
Especially this year, there has been like way too many goddamn games that.
Yeah.
Like this year, I right now I want to start Alan Wake 2, and that'll probably be like the last game that I'll do for this year. I still never got to play Sea of Stars, or I did play it, but didn't I know that I'm not getting that done. And Final Fantasy 16 is another one that I'm not gonna be able to get to at the end of this year because there was
you got a month.
Too many good games.
Yeah, Alan Wake is better than both of those by like a lot. So
I've heard
No.
I've heard a lot of good things about Alan Wake 2, but I don't know about that because I'm not a spooky guy.
No, Alan Wake 2 is the best survival horror game I've ever played.
That's exactly why I don't know.
Exactly.
Like I love Alan Wake 1, so Alan Wake 2 is the only reason I'm considering buying it. Well, that Spider-Man 2 that I want to buy a PS5 because I want to play Alan Wake 2. If you don't like to be scared, you are not going to like Alan Wake 2 because I don't get scared very easily, and I've been scared about 5 times playing that game.
Oh,
I'll make it work for Alan Wake.
Hard.
It's fantastic.
So when you guys were playing this, did you end up usually trying to clear out a zone, or like did you go for like taking out just the headquarters at all?
I did take out all of the dupe outposts. Out of the map and all that, and maybe 1 or 2 zones to get like the fast travel thing between both islands. But that's
okay.
Like there were a lot of like the other side stuff of like find this niche in the middle of the crowd, or
I got good at that,
or whatever. Like I was thinking.
I did as little side stuff as I could. Like if it wasn't a hindrance to me to get through the area, I didn't even bother clearing out the area. Like, let the enemies come get me. I don't care. At least it's giving me something to do. Like, because the thing that I liked about this was the gameplay, was the combat. So like if clearing out an area meant that I wasn't going to have combat when I was in that area, I didn't want to do it because I wanted to fight when I was playing this game. So let the enemies come.
See, I was the opposite. I did clear out the areas when I played it because the combat got repetitive to me, and I was just like, oh my god, go away. Like, I don't want to deal with you. I just want to move on.
Fair.
Did anyone do the Cole side mission?
What?
Yeah, there's a side mission where I did like only the first mission, so I can't tell you what it is about, honestly. Like, it's like does something about successor or something like that. Or Cole's Legacy, it's what it's called. And it's this reporter that's doing a piece on Cole McGrath, I think, or something like that. Like, and trying to uncover the DUP or whatever. Again, I don't think the thing about that is that those missions were originally, I believe, pre-order DLC for the game. So at the time when I played it back in 2016, I did not have those missions. So it's like but they later added them to the game, and it was like 2 or 3 years ago when they finally added it.
I did not see them, but then again, was not connected to the internet when I played this game.
Okay.
Only because it wanted me to sign in, and I just did not give a shit enough to log in. I mean, that was 100% true. I just didn't care. I'm like, so. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I just didn't care. I was like, it don't matter to me. I'm not interested.
I didn't see those either. I think that would have made them worse because it would have been like, hey, remember when you had an interesting protagonist? Let's remind you of him. And then I would have been like, oh, I could be playing Infamous 2.
Oh, and by the way, that first mission I did not like because it's like, oh, follow these fish drawings that are very small and you can barely see them in walls and shit to find where I hid my pen drive or whatever. And I'm like, you just follow the stupid fish to an area and then enemies will show up and then you grab the thing and you listen to the audio log or whatever. And that's the mission.
I don't remember any of what you're talking. Okay, that's the cold mission that I didn't do?
Yes.
Okay, I was like...
Let me see if I can get like...
I mean, it's possible, like you said, it was just something that I had to probably log online. I know there's the paper trail missions that are no longer in the game anymore, or something.
Cole's Legacy is an expansion pack for Infamous Second Son, which was initially available only by pre-ordering the game for U.S. customers, or purchasing the special edition. The back contains missions uncovering the events which happened during the 7-year time span between the activation of the RFI and Infamous 2 and the storyline of Infamous Second Son. This is the only time when Zeke Dunbar makes a cameo appearance. Okay.
That's okay. I'm okay without him.
And Dr. Sebastian Wolf's brother, Raymond Wolf, appears in a cameo as well.
Okay.
After completion of Cole's Legacy, the Cole's original bike courier jacket is awarded for in-game use.
No, I never changed costumes at all in this game.
I did not change costumes at all either.
There's no point. Delson looked fine.
Was there anywhere he wasn't wearing a beanie?
No. Well, I hope not.
He always wears the beanie. What are you talking about?
I think that the beanie is glued to his head.
I'm okay with it. It fits that 2013, 2014 punk aesthetic.
Also, speaking of cold, Mike, you hadn't seen the thing that I sent you up until I sent it to you. The TV stores around the city were like McGrath Electronics or something like that.
You know, I didn't notice that. I must not pay enough attention. I mean, I saw the Sly Cooper spray paint, which made me black. I'm like, yep, Emanuel, rest in peace, Sly Cooper.
There's like Sly Cooper neon at one place of the city too. Like, but yeah, a bunch of the of the stores around the city are called like McGrath's Electronics or something like that.
Oh, that's cool. I like that little inside joke Easter egg.
Let me look at the chat.
Yeah, I remember seeing your thing. I just didn't pay attention, I guess, in here. I was just running through the game and having a great time and just I was trying not to do story missions until the game forced me to.
Okay.
Because when I do open world games, I try to do everything I can do before I do the next mission in a story mission. It's just how I play open world games. Because my whole theory is that I want to do as much as I can until I get to the point where I just want to be done, and then I just mainline the story.
Yeah, I often do the same too. I sometimes try to avoid it because sometimes then that kind of ruins my experience with the game.
Yeah, I do exactly the opposite. I mainline the story, and then when I'm doing side stuff, if I get sick of it, it doesn't matter because I'm just doing side stuff instead of being sick of the game and then oh, well, I guess I have to power my way through this dumb story now. I've ruined a couple games for myself that way.
Yeah, same.
That's fair.
By the way, the name of the stores is Cole McGee's Electronics. And it says electric savings.
Okay, that's cute. All right.
So did Cole survive and he just opened up like a bunch of electronic stores?
Or people just opened up stores and said, hey, remember this guy?
Yeah.
Or it could have just been another person named Cole McGrath, and it was just a happy coincidence.
Alternate universe Cole McGrath.
The least amount of fun that you could possibly be.
Because the ending of 2 is the good ending of 2 is where Cole sacrificed himself, right? And everybody becomes conduits.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Which is the canon one to this story.
Yeah. I couldn't remember. It's been a while. It's earlier this year, but it feels like it's been a while. This is another game that I have been anticipating to play all year because of the show. So I was so excited to finally play this. And I beat this game in like 3 days or so. Well, it didn't take me long. I played a ton of it on Thanksgiving. That was my Thanksgiving day for myself, just playing Infamous Second Son. It was great. I loved it. My wife was cooking and doing whatever she was doing. I'm just sitting there playing it, and yeah, it was great.
That's a dream right there, right? You know?
Until she's like, "Why aren't you helping me?" I'm like, "You don't want me to."
Jesus.
That's right there, living the life.
Hey, I help her with plenty of things, but Thanksgiving dinner is not. I don't cook turkeys. I don't mess with that. That's not my type of. I cook other dinners all the time, but not that. I'm like, you're on your own for this one. I got Second Son. I got to beat.
I have to do it for work.
Yep. Hey, technically, this is a job. Doesn't pay very well in the end, but hey, it's a job.
No, all podcasters are millionaires.
Oh yeah, totally.
I mean, a couple of them are. Michael Rosenbaum does that count?
He was already a millionaire.
I know, that's a joke.
Michael Rosenbaum has a podcast?
Oh
Yeah.
yes, very.
And he interviews a bunch of like Hollywood people.
Oh
It's weird how he
God.
gets those connections.
So good.
That's what we need. More fucking celebrities interviewing celebrities podcasts. I can't imagine listening to one of those.
No, but his is really good though.
His is actually good.
That's what
not
everybody
like-
says, but I can't possibly care.
Well, that sounds like a you problem.
It sure is.
Yeah, that is true.
I don't
sure
care
is.
either because I don't care about celebrities, and I only like indie. I only listen to I listen to podcasts on my friend mostly. So and Comic Conspiracy, I just love that show. That's neither here nor there. But I also I was entertained with the story of this game too. I like again, as I said earlier, going after the government. I like that whole idea. That was a great plot point. I like as you meet people along the way, like you meet Fletch or what's her name? I said it wrong.
Fetch.
Fetch.
Hey,
I like her.
Fetch.
I liked her a lot.
Hey,
I mean, I had
somebody-
played First
Throwing
Light.
some spray paint. I heard the chicka chicka chicka.
That was my dog. It worked. No, I liked her. I thought she was a good character in this. I mean, I had played First Light once before, a couple years ago. I think more like 5 years ago. I think it was before the podcast even. And so I knew who she was, but
Because she's the best character in this fucking
she's a
game.
good character in this.
Yeah, and First Light really fleshes her out, and it's like kind of amazing. Like they don't usually do that for side characters in an open world game, but like she was pretty fleshed out in Second Son. But like to give her own game, to like realize that, oh, this is an actual interesting character. Let's let people know what she's about. I thought was very interesting.
We will do that at some point.
I think one of the things they were doing with this game, which I do totally praise and I really like what they were going for, is the world building. And, they set up really an interesting world with Infamous 1 and 2. But this kind of it's showing you other aspects of that world. And I feel because of the sales, we never got that payoff because it feels like they were building up. Here's all these other characters, all these other conduits, and then they're going to bring them together Avengers style with all these characters. And that's what I felt they were doing with it because I like that when done well, that's really awesome. Like Darksiders started doing that and they just THQ failed miserably. So they never really got to complete it. But that's what I feel they were doing with this. And the public reception, the negativity, I don't feel really came from the shoehorned in gimmicks or the length of the game. I think a lot of the negativity came from the fact that you didn't play as Cole McGrath. And a lot of people didn't even give it a chance. Like, I want to play Infamous. I want to play Cole. I'll play Infamous 1 or 2 again. And I think that sucks because we didn't get what I think they were really going for. Because when they teased Cole coming back at the end of Infamous 2 and the good ending, it's like, why would you tease that and never pay it off? You have to want to pay that off. Like, that's your character. And it's like, all right, he's laying low. Let's let these other characters shine. And then something's going to happen to bring them together. And Cole's going to step out and be like, I'm going to take over. I'm going to take charge. I'm going to lead this team. And then you get to play as all these characters that you've had time to experience because they each had their own solo games. But people, unfortunately, are very much into that comfort food where they want more of the same and they don't like things that are different and they resent that and we don't get to have fun stuff like that.
I don't think it's necessarily because he was different. I just think that Delson was just a bland character to me. I just never got him. Like he's okay. Like he's not the worst, but there were the other characters in this game were kind of more interesting than the protagonist, and that's always a problem. Also,
I like Delson more than Cole.
looking at sales, the game sold over 1 million copies in 9 days after its launch, making one of the best-selling PlayStation 4 games as well as the fastest-selling installment in the series.
Oh,
You're
I
right.
wonder...
And then it didn't go much more. I mean, unfortunately, you have to remember that this is at the beginning of that era when $1 million for a AAA or $1 million sales for a AAA game doesn't mean success. I mean, look at what happened with Tomb Raider and Square Enix, right? It took the PS4 and the Xbox One versions of the reboot for that to be considered successful after like 4 million total sold.
Okay, but to be fair, we're talking about Square Enix.
Doesn't matter. We're also talking about Tomb Raider, which is a much bigger IP than Infamous.
But again, we're talking about Square Enix, the infamous studio, or you know.
Yeah, they're stupid when it comes to like what they. I mean, but Barry's right. Like, it's just in this time, you have to sell so much, otherwise it's not worth it to them. And
exactly, like Sony has flat out stated. And more recently, too, that they're going to be doing less experimental and they're just going to stay with the few tried and true AAA stuff they have. That's why we have Last of Us Part 1 and now Part 2 coming again. That's the reason. It's because they don't want to take any more chances and they're just going to throw out what they feel is safe. And it sucks. You also have to remember this time period right after this happened, they brought over God of War 3 from the PS3 to the PS4. Not a trilogy, not all 5 games that were on the PS3. Just God of War 3, an HD game in HD. They did that, and it was like, why? That's so stupid.
Yeah.
Because they were just, let's try and throw something out there to try and make money. They were not thinking. And we look at it and go, over 1 million copies fastest selling, that's a surefire success. And they look at it, and it's not them as much as probably the stockholders, like those that sit around the board that never play a video game. Those people that, like, when Nintendo announced that Animal Crossing was going to be delayed, they started selling because like Nintendo's doomed. They're like, what are you doing? You're stupid. And of course, delaying it was the smartest thing ever because not only was the game great, but it came out at the perfect time and it did gangbusters. So those people, like the people who control the stocks, don't know shit about video games. They just don't. And that's the thing. They'll look at this and go, oh, Sony, this only sold 1 million. If you want us to keep those stock and be happy, you better get us something that sells 5 million. And they look at Infamous and goes, oh, I guess we're Infamous, 4 or 5, if you will, is not going to do that. So let's Sucker Punch. You're on to do something else now. Sorry.
You're on to do a known quantity in Spider-Man and make the same game, but make it more boring because you have to deal with Spider-Man instead of like your own interesting IP characters that you can do interesting stuff with.
Supposedly they asked Sucker Punch who they wanted to do, and they did Spider-Man. That's the only reason they did.
Sucker Punch did not do Spider-Man.
That's
not Sucker Punch.
Insomniac.
Insomniac.
Originally, the rumor was before the first Spider-Man game came out that it was Sucker Punch, since they had worked on superhero games, which was the Infamous series and all that. But yeah, it turned out to be Insomniac instead.
So Sucker Punch Ghost of Tsushima then?
Yes.
Yes.
That was Ghost of
Okay,
Tsushima.
all right. I always get those like studios mixed up.
But you think about that. First Light was 2014. Was in August of 2014, and Ghost of Tsushima was July of 2020. So for 6 years, they literally said, "Sucker Punch, go back to the drawing board, do something different." And it took them 6 years to put out another game. And Ghost of Tsushima is fantastic.
It's so good.
Loved it. But still, they had to do something different. And even that came out in PS4 and got a PS5. Like, let's do it again. Like, here's a PS5 version of it. Like we want to still play it safe. I think they're doing a sequel if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But it's still it's one of those where, your series is dead. This killed the series. It did not do well enough, even though we all look at it and go, that did fine. They wanted more.
I'm actually sad now that it's been almost 10 years and we haven't got another one, nor any word of one. Like, I didn't care really. I was like, oh,
and there will not be another one. Sucker Punch already expressed that there will not be another Infamous or Sly Cooper game.
Yep.
Neither they or any other studios are working on another installment of Infamous or Sly Cooper or any remasters of either series.
That's the saddest
but
part.
Still
the
a
remaster.
hope for Rocket. But no, I mean, sorry, that was too easy. I mean, Sony has already shown Sly 4, with a different developer, and they did that with Jak and Daxter. They did that with, just Daxter itself. Ratchet and Clank, they did that. So they will take the IP because Sony owns the infamous IP. They could give it to a new studio to do it, but they won't because they're only focusing on the surefire hits. So Sony, people criticize Microsoft a lot during the second half of the 360 era and the entire Xbox One era because of their trifecta. It was Halo, Gears of War, and Forza. Like every year, that's what you got from them, the same games over and over. And the genre has never changed. There was no deviation. They were almost the same game or very similar. And Forza Horizon, of course, is a little different than Forza, but still, it's so similar. And now Sony, I feel, is going to be that way. They're going to be Spider-Man, and they're going to be God of War, and Last of Us.
I haven't played the last God of War, so I
good.
I haven't played it yet. But doesn't the story of Kratos just end with that one? Like, without spoilers?
No,
it doesn't. But it could end.
I was under the impression that it was like the end or something.
No, they did world building with it, is what they did. But
also, we're not getting we are obviously getting Spider-Man 3, but next is Wolverine, not Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Yeah, but that's same universe though. So Marvel universe, if you will. But it's still one of those things where that's what you're seeing, and it's the same people criticize Nintendo for the same thing with Mario, Zelda, and Pokemon, and it's like at least there's diversity. Like Mario Odyssey is very different than Mario Wonder versus God of War Ragnarok. They're very, very similar games.
Which is why I haven't played it yet. So
it's Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are similar, but they're very different than Link's Awakening or Ocarina of Time or something. So it's funny how people criticize one company and then they praise another. Oh yeah. But I think Sony is in a rut right now where their big game this year was Spider-Man 2, and that was it. Mm-hmm. And I see people who champion Sony, mention like Final Fantasy 16. I was like, no, Final Fantasy 16 is Square Enix. It's a PlayStation 5 exclusive. Right, for console, sure, but it's not Sony. Like, don't ever think that Sony made that game. They did not. And they didn't need Sony's money, And right now, Square's, they've been getting buddy-buddy with Xbox. So we'll probably see 16 there anyway.
Oh, for sure we'll see 16 on Xbox.
Oh, yeah. But it's just Sony had a terrible year in regards to first-party stuff. And Infamous would be great. This is the year that Infamous would have been perfect. Because they could have earlier in the year had Infamous and ended with Spider-Man and at least had two big games. But we didn't, and we're never going to get that. Well, I shouldn't say never. Let's be honest. There's a small chance, a 0.0001% chance we'll see another Infamous game that's not on mobile or something. And I'd love to see it.
Or, we could just get another PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale 2, baby, with all these PlayStation mascots, including Dante from Devil May Cry reboot. Oh, wait, no.
But let's get a new Resistance game before that.
See another series. It's like Sony is famous for building an IP on a platform and then abandoning it the next platform, or virtually abandoning it. The Jak and Daxter was abandoned on the PS2. Like that was it. Like
literally the only one that has survived since the PS2 up until now is Ratchet and Clank.
God of War.
And God of War. Yeah.
And even that, Ratchet and Clank had one game on the PS5, and God of War had two. And
I mean, the PS5 cycle is still not.
God of War only had one. I'm sorry as well. Yeah. PS5 is 3 years old already. But there's no notification of getting more. And PS4, Ratchet and Clank only had one, right? And God of War
was that one. Goddamn remake.
Yeah, and God of War only had one.
And all of those Ratchet and Clank games are the same anyway. Like that new Ratchet and Clank game is really fun, but it's really barely pretty. Any different than than the what is that one called on PlayStation 3? The Call of Booty or whatever.
Oh, that was the middle one of the Future series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tools of Destruction, and I don't.
It was Tools of Destruction, Quest for Booty, and A Crack in Time.
But yeah, those are exceptions. Uncharted was a PS3 series. It had two PS4 releases because Sony pretty much said, do it, like fans would come back and do it. And look, Naughty Dog went right back to Last of Us.
Hey, which actually the 2 PS4 games are better than the trilogy.
Yes, I agree with you.
Yep, I agree there. I agree
100%.
too.
Yep.
I think Lost Legacy is the best one, probably
like 4
because
better.
of how short it is.
Yeah.
4 was drawn out so bad that I hated it by the end. Lost Legacy plays the same, but like doesn't overstay its welcome.
I just appreciated that 4 didn't have any mystical mumbo jumbo in it. Like
I didn't like that.
I did not like that in the trilogy at all. Like in 3, it was even felt so forced, and that's the. It's just
3 was forced, but I love the mystical stuff. But back to Infamous, I do have another thing I want to comment on. I mean, hey,
all right, Infamous.
Sony, it's in the,
that's right. We were talking about Infamous.
I mean, we're talking about the whole Sony.
Yeah, no, it's fine. There's something I want to bring up that. So, like, one of the side missions in this game that I didn't think I was gonna like you mentioned the spy thing, and we have to find a guy who you have a picture, and I was like, I'm not gonna like this, and it actually I got into those. When I wasn't sure, you just start shooting random people, and you'll figure it out sooner or later. Like, I did that too a couple times. I'm like, I think this is the guy. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, there he was. One of them. So I did. I also didn't mind the secret camera thing. I thought I would hate that because I hated taking the picture and trying to find the packages in Infamous 1 and 2, but at least Infamous 1. I didn't mind it. I got really good at finding those hidden cameras in here too. Like, really good at it. I was impressed. I could find it pretty quick. I don't know. I thought the side missions were great. Like, it all felt as the same type of theme of trying to stop the DUP. So that was good. I mean, that's what kept me going. I love the fact that the shards are all on your map and you just got to go find the little drones that have them. Like, that was perfect.
Yeah, but they appear once you, like, clear out the DUP.
I mean, in Infamous 1, they never appeared, I don't think. So.
In Infamous, they were upgrade. Like, you could buy... get upgrades to like see him on the mini map.
There were also a lot less in this game, which was nice. There were like Infamous 1 and 2. I feel like there's hundreds and hundreds of them.
I mean, there's a lot less of everything in this game.
Well, that's fine. I mean,
which is to be fair, which is very fine because coming right out of Spider-Man 2 as a big open world game into another goddamn open world game, I appreciate it.
As a guy who plays a game every week, sometimes more. I love an open world game like this where I got to 100% the game and I didn't feel like, it took me only a few days really. Like I didn't play this that long. I started on a Monday and beat it on a Thursday or so. Like it didn't take long.
I'm kind of sick of open world games.
I don't play many. I mean, I'm playing 3 in the last 3 weeks, but after that I won't be too well. I don't have another one until January, but that's different. And then I don't want to talk about. That's a whole other conversation. I don't want to go there. Oh, I do want to talk about the boss fights in this game. So there's like we should go back. There's a couple different content. You have the first guy that you capture or that you get the smoke powers from, who's Hank. A piece of shit. Well, I mean, Hank is an asshole. Okay, I do agree with his reasoning when he turns you in later in this game because he's trying to save his daughter. That's fine. But he's still an asshole. You have Fletch that we talked about with the neon power. She's awesome.
Without the L, Mike.
And then we have what was the internet? Let's make fun of internet people guy.
The angry video game nerd.
I don't remember his name.
Howard or something like that.
Video guy. Okay. Yeah, his boss fight was really weird because like you're in a video game and you're fighting a giant like demon thing. Like that was just fucking weird with lava and stuff.
Cool though.
It was very cool. Saints Row 4, and I don't remember which one came first.
I really should play those someday.
Saints Row 4 is way better than this.
I gotta play 1 and 2 and 3 before I can play 4 in my head.
You don't have to play 1. You absolutely don't have to play Saints Row 1.
I'm not going to. I just make that joke. I know if I ever play Saints Row, we're starting with 3. So
Saints Row 1 is very GTA. It's like by the books. Once. GTA.
I played it once back on 360 many years ago for like an hour, and then I'll get to this later, and that was easily over 10 years ago. So
yes, no, Saints Row 1 is really bad. 2 is good. 3 is great.
I liked 1.
I think they didn't have I think Saints Row needs that goofy tone, and 1 did not have any goof.
That goofy tone didn't come about until later. They started as a GTA clone, and then they started to say, look, we can't compete with GTA by doing GTA. We need to go our own direction. Yeah. And I agree, the series did get better. But that doesn't mean the first one was bad. It was just a GTA clone.
No, and I don't like GTA, so...
I don't either. That's why I don't ever.
Hey, well, good news. We're getting GTA 6.
You know what? I'm probably not gonna play it, but I don't mind that because it's been how many years since GTA 5? That was a PS3 game, and
10 years.
God.
Yeah,
GTA 5 came out in 2013.
People love those GTA games, and that's great. Like what you like, but my goodness, GTA, it always has a bad tone to me. The GTA games always feel like they're too serious, and then they have goofiness crammed in there, and it never fits. That's why Saints Row is great, because it's like, here, we're goofy. And I love that.
I think GTA was a novelty. And like when the first games came out, you know, we were in high school. At least I was in high school at the time, and it was one of those things where it was like, oh my God, like this is so cool. You can steal a car, and like, whoa, you know, like this was. We were playing, you know, drug wars on our TI-83 calculators. So for us, it was like, this is awesome, you know. But I think now it's like video games have come so far that it's like, guess what? You could steal a car. You could do that in virtually any game at this point. Like, it's not novel.
Yeah.
Not in this game, no. You don't need to, though.
No,
but
yeah.
you could in Jack 2, all right? Jack and Dexter 2,
I do need to play the Jack series someday, damn it. You're reminding me of
GTA.
Games I need to play. No, I just need to. I need to play that.
And just like in Saints Row 4, like you can steal cars, but why would you want to? You can run faster than cars. And that's, you know, it's same as Infamous. Like it would be very dumb if they put car stealing into these games.
So as a guy who doesn't play a ton of open world games, this was probably the most fun I had traversing in a game ever. Like I love traversing in this game.
Have you never played Spider-Man?
I have, but I don't remember.
Honestly, I enjoyed Infamous Second Son traversal more than Spider-Man 1 and 2 and Miles Morales.
The last time I played Spider-Man was before this podcast was a thing, so 5 years ago. Pre-podcast. That's how I rate my life now. Not after I had a kid. It's pre-podcast and after podcast. Post-podcast.
Yeah, I'll take running over buildings and being able to like glide around. I'll take that over the web swinging. I agree with the traversal in these being a lot better.
Just with the video screen where you just fly up a freaking man.
There we go again with the video.
I love the video.
The video is better than you would give it credit for. Okay.
To me, it was the best power I got in the whole game. Once I got it, I was like, oh yeah, they say the best power for last. So.
And it wasn't the last power.
It was for me because when I got the concrete power, the game was already 100%. So I beat that terrible boss fight and went, the game's over with. I'm like, oh, you can go finish up what you didn't do. I'm like, we're done, game. Uninstall and off you go. Back in the shelf you go. That's what happened with it. You go right to the other copy that I own two of for some reason. I know why, but because I didn't pay attention to what I own and went, I don't think I have this.
You need to sell one of those on eBay, Mike.
For $5.
Yeah.
It ain't worth it.
Better off giving it to someone as a Christmas gift or something.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
What's going to happen is it's going to sit on this shelf till someday I get to a point where I go, I don't want these anymore because I can play all these digitally on my PC 20 years from now, and then I'll just sell them everything. But yeah.
Digital. Speaking of Sony, did you see what Sony just did digitally right now?
Yes, but I'm not talking about buying things digitally, sir. I'm talking about playing things a different way digitally. But yes,
what did I miss?
Sony recently, all the WB Discovery stuff that you bought on Sony is going away.
Yeah, that you paid for. Like you paid for, it's gone. Like
that's shitty as fuck.
So I never bought any videos. So
that's why you.
I don't think it's Sony. I think it's Discovery being Discovery.
It doesn't matter.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Physical.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, no. But my whole thing is like what I'm talking about a different way that I'll be playing it digitally. And someday I might do this. That's what I'm referring to in this case.
You're sailing the 7 seas.
Oh, hey, if something isn't, I have, I will not I will never touch anything new. And I have a rule: if I can buy it on PC, I will buy it on PC. I might not play it on PC, but I will buy it on PC. So I support the developer and I do the right thing. And then however I play it, I don't leave me alone. You got money. That's my rule of thumb. So, but when it's like 20 years and you're like, what's this? We never heard of this. Then I don't. But no, I was sad when I saw that digital thing with Discovery because that's a very bad tone it's a fear where everybody's been scared of is going to happen and that
it's going to happen.
They need to,
That's when people say, when you buy physical, you don't really buy it either. You just buy the license on the thing. Like, they're not going to touch it. They're not going to come to your house and take the disc away. You're fine.
No.
But they will do that to your systems.
Until we get video game Nazis.
They can stop you from playing a game. that you have a disc for.
Yeah.
if
only the online components, they can't touch the data on the disc.
Plus, it has no. But then that's your own problem. If you only bought a single player game only. So,
yeah,
multiplayer game only.
I buy stuff where I'm comfortable paying for it to play once, and then I don't care what happens afterwards. Like, I'll play it once, and then if they take it away, like, that sucks. But I also don't care because I played it.
Digital I buy is my Steam library, and I will never get to some of those games. And I feel like with Steam, I feel safer. Or worse come to worse, if it goes off Steam, I'll just get it other ways. But that's my whole thing. So
you just need to make sure that Gabe Newell never dies. Just keep him immortal, just like this.
Have you seen Gabe Newell lately? He looks like he may die at any moment.
Oh, really? Yeah.
He might be dead by the time this episode comes out.
Oh, God, no. Please, no. Don't say that.
Not him. Not my Steam library. No.
Just imagine if Gabe just has like a fuck you button of like, when I die, all of Steam will be deleted.
Like, fuck this company I built from the ground up.
Like attached to his heart. So when his heart stops beating, it just happens. Like there's nothing anyone can do about it.
Oh, God damn it.
These are good jokes about a guy's death.
We're all going to hell.
The chance of this guy hearing this podcast is 0.0000001. So it's okay. Except I know a guy who's been on the podcast who actually seen Gabe Newell and walked by him. So it's but hey.
It's his lame claim to fame. I walked by Gabe Newell.
Building.
And you want to touch my hand?
I breathed the same air as Gabe Newell once. We were in an open field.
I mean, honestly, I hope Gabe doesn't die. He does seem like a stand-up dude.
Oh, yeah.
There's other people that I would much rather curse their fate and see them die.
My God.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about...
Let's not go there, but many.
No,
let's not talk about it. Let's talk about Infamous.
If you want, this went off topic real fast.
If you want to hear about the people
that path, we picked the red path right now. Apparently,
the renegade.
We're in the
evil karma.
Yeah,
if you want to hear the people that I wish to die, this Bizarre Adventure episode 20, we talked about many people that we hope die.
Wow. My God, that sounds pretty.
Were you drinking during this podcast?
No, we're just we barely talk about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure on that podcast. It's mostly like extreme leftist propaganda.
Wait, what?
He has a JoJo Bizarre Adventure podcast where he reviews each episode, or used to. That was the theory of how it started.
Yeah, we talk about it a little bit.
And how did that get to wanting people to die?
It's just because my co-hosts and I are both insane.
Do you know what? That is a perfectly cool answer. I agree. 2 thumbs up for that answer. Makes sense.
So there's another thing I do want to say about this game too is that I almost never fast traveled in this game. Because why? Well, one, I don't like the fact that I had to go to a sign to fast travel to another district.
It is such a dumb way of fast travel.
It is. So my theory was, you know what? Fuck it. I'll just fly there.
Yeah.
Or I'll run there with the neon power. I mean, I was like, I'll just get there myself.
Yeah, the map's not big enough to need to find by the time you find a sign, you're 3/4 of the way of where you're going anyway.
Mm-hmm. Well, that, and when you do everything before you, I had the whole first map completed by the time the bridge opened up. And then when the bridge opened up, I finished the other map pretty quickly. So I did it before I probably should have, because I didn't have all the powers by the time I was clearing out the maps, and it would have been way easier had I waited. But I couldn't wait.
So you did make it harder on yourself.
I did.
As per usual.
I had to wait on one of them because I could not get to something without... Well, no, I had everything done before I got the satellite power. So yeah, I made it harder on myself. Or the video power. Yeah.
That's about right.
It was so much fun.
Look, I hate when games actually lock you. Like, oh, you can't keep doing this. You have to progress the story. Here it's like they allow you. Like, it's going to be harder, but if you want to do it, you can do it. Have fun with
Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, baby. Oh, you want to go to that tower? We're going to put a white barrier in front of you. Fuck you. Don't go here yet.
Yeah, I hate that. Just let me play the game I want to play.
Oh, I have an issue with that. I have to clear with an open world game. I have to do whatever it is that opens up the map for fast travel. I don't know why, but I have to do it, and until I can do it, I am not okay with it. I'm upset. I'm not like I'm actually upset, but I'm like, it's just one of those things. I'm like, I want to do this. Let me do this now. That's me.
Nothing wrong with that.
You should try playing Souls games.
I
they'll
have.
let you play them exactly how you want to.
I've beaten 3, and I'm doing Bloodborne next year for Halloween. So, or not Halloween, but Spooktober. We'll see if I beat it in the time that I beat it once, so I'm good enough.
Oh, you better beat it, because I'm going to be on that episode, and I'm going to make fun of you the whole time if you don't.
Well, I'm going to start it like months ahead of time and have people help me if I need help. So with summons.
Okay.
That's how I'm playing it the right way.
Hey.
You find whatever way you can cheat the system and you do it.
Hey, there is a way to cheat the system a bit, if you want me to tell you.
Oh, there's glitches?
Kind of. There's one way to get a lot of experience.
Okay, I might take you up on that later on. Because I beat it once. I don't feel like I beat every boss in that game except for Orphan of Kos. So, because fuck him.
Well, you better beat him by the time we do the episode.
Unless I'm cheating and beating him in one hit, I ain't fighting him again. Whew. That's not. Oh, another thing with this game, like I didn't like this. My issue with the smoke power was like I felt it was hard to find more smoke sometimes. Did anyone else have that problem?
Yes.
Yeah. I think the problem is recharging for like 3 or 4 different powers, because you have to find the different ways to recharge the power. Unlike when you just have electricity and you can suck it out of the power lines or the cars or the TVs in a window. So yes, everything was too hard to recharge. Like too much of a, not hard, but too much of a pain in the ass to recharge.
Okay, that's fair.
And I do think that there was a way more neon around the city.
Oh yeah,
there is,
to like recharge as opposed to the other powers.
Yeah, because they knew that that's the one most people were going to want to use.
Yeah,
video baby. Yes.
I'm kind of shocked it's an interesting system, but I almost feel like they should just make them all infinite. Just like screw it. You know what? We know you're gonna sit here and just siphon the stuff, and we're not gonna make it work for it.
Back in Infamous 1, when you could just shoot, and there wasn't like a drainage of that normal ability. Like the special abilities, it did take away from your meter or whatever, but not the normal shot.
The normal shouldn't. Special, I agree. It should.
It's like when you have a game with guns and like the pistol has infinite ammo, so you always have something. Yeah, that's good game design.
And
like
that's
Mega Man,
And that's how 2 was with the melee. I really liked the melee in 2. Plus, there was a skin for Sly Cooper's cane that you could use in 2.
That's cool. I didn't see that.
And that automatically makes things 100% cooler.
It was 100% cooler with that cane.
I felt that like in the story beats of the game as it progresses, I also felt like Delson grew. Like at one point you have throughout most of the game you have his brother who's helping you. And then spoilers for the story of this game if you're still here. 2014, so I don't really care. But like when his brother dies, I thought that was I was surprised. I was not expecting that the general is going to kill his brother.
I was trying to remember if he survived or not after
I thought he dies.
He does, but for some reason I kind of thought that he didn't. Like he survived somehow.
He went to go sleep with the fishies. He gave him concrete feet and a whole concrete bodysuit.
Yeah, but Fetch and Video Guy also got dropped. So they could have saved him if they failed. I don't know.
He did not have plot armor.
Yeah, Fetch wouldn't have saved a cop's life anyway.
Yeah. Oh, her story is great that she's killing drug dealers. That was fucking awesome, by the way. I like that a lot. I like her a lot in this game.
Yeah, she rules.
The Video Guy, I don't even know what his story was, other than he was tortured for 10 years or something like that.
I don't even remember his name, so that's how...
I don't either. I just remember a guy with glasses that's talking to you, and then... It's so weird, but...
It felt like a guy making fun of people who play video games as a character in a video game, which felt really weird.
It was it's a 2014 thing, not something you would see nowadays. Okay, maybe not. I don't experience enough stuff that's new. Everything. I'm watching Medium from 2005, for God's sake. I don't watch new shows either, so.
Good Lord.
Well, I live in the early 2000s, apparently.
Well, you're going to have to watch Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, my boy.
Yeah, that I have to, because I'm recording.
That's a good one.
So I don't have a choice.
I already watched it, by the way, so.
It's good. Scott Pilgrim's very good.
I need to see it. I will see it.
You'll enjoy it.
Oh, I also enjoyed like the karma powers. Once you do enough good karma stuff, you get the big bomb drop attack. I thought I liked that was there as a reason not to do bad things sometimes especially when you got your bomb filled out.
I certainly do wish that the animation for that wasn't quite so long and that you didn't have to watch it every single time.
Yeah, I got tired of his face. A lot. I really got tired. Like, look, everybody, like, fuck you, Delson. Like, I don't want to watch you.
Yeah, push Y to skip.
Yeah, I would appreciate it.
I mean, I don't like most Final Fantasy games and Metal Gear games for that reason. Like, I hate watching video while I'm trying to play a video game. Like, shut up. Don't make me watch this summon animation 70 times. Just like...
If you're playing Metal Gear Solid 4, you're not playing the game. You're watching a movie.
That's only for the later Final Fantasy. The better Final Fantasies don't have long summon animations.
Okay.
He's right. 6 doesn't at all.
6 doesn't. Nope. That's great.
Best game ever made. So, hey, we're one of them. But, yeah.
Exactly. Wow. I agree. 6 is fantastic.
I am not going to say anything at this point.
Don't. There are certain games that I will defend to the day I die. 6 and Chrono Trigger are 2 of them. So.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to talk bad about that.
That's fine. Yeah, I actually don't care that much. But, all right, anything else in Infamous? Oh, the final boss in Infamous Second Son. I like the first part when you fight her the first time before you have concrete powers and she becomes and morphs into her Megazord. Like, I liked that part first. Well, actually, more Ivan Ooze. That's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of the Ivan Ooze monster.
It is literally one of those the things for the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie. Yes, I agree.
That was stupid. Like, the first fight where the other guy, like, first you have smoke powers because only smoke, and then there's only neon or there's only video screens, and like, it felt cool. I'm like, this is epic. But then when you beat her, and then she kills I think she kills your brother after that, or whatever, something happened.
It was before that fight. Because
then when you go to the final top, wherever the final fight was, where you end up in that church area, because you also had to climb that tower you could never get to until the very end of the game, which had the last shard I needed, by the way, to 100% the game. And then when you go to, like, that, wherever you went to, like, in that school, that was just a stupid... I did not enjoy fighting the concrete monster. I'm like, this is just dumb.
I, again, died so many times.
Oh, it was hard. I died a few times. And you have to use a power you never used before. I'm like, I don't want this power. Just give me video back. Or even give me neon or smoke and I'll be fine. Like, give me something I know how to use.
Or give me all the powers at once already.
Yeah.
Like,
it also... Concrete's not that much. It wasn't that much different. I don't understand.
It's just not
good. I think I died like twice on that fight. I didn't think it was, and that's not long. To say that like some sort of it, but like I don't know. I didn't have a problem with it. I thought it was fine, but I do agree that the second phase was it was like fighting the second phase of the last boss in Infamous 2, like where he's like giant and like crunching across the bridge and stuff, and it's like, this isn't fun. Like, it's a spectacle, but it's not especially enjoyable to do, which in a game where most of the stuff that I enjoyed was fighting stuff, to have the last fight be something that I didn't enjoy was very weird. Like, stick with what you're good at. Don't give me some bullshit.
And that's when I found out about the paper trail mission, because after you beat her there, because she talks about a kid that she was protecting, which apparently I'll be bringing up on one of her questions, isn't in the game anymore, but there's a paper trail thing you can start in that room. But you had to be connected online, and they turned it off.
Sucks. When I was here. I hate content that's lost like that.
Same. That bothers me. Hey, and I own a physical twice. I'm still, well, to be fair, I bought them in buy two get one free sales, or at least the second time where I didn't want anything else.
And you bought it twice?
I didn't realize I had it the second time I bought it. I'm like, I think I own this, but I need another game, and I own the rest of the stuff in this pile.
That's when you go back to the store and say, look, hey, is there a chance I could change this to another game because I already have this? It just goes in a pile, and it will sit there forever. So, Christmas gift to your child. Hey, you're old enough for Infamous Second Son.
He's 16, yeah, but you don't have a PS4. He has a Switch. This doesn't play on the Switch.
No.
He would like this game, though, otherwise. Yeah. Anything else we should say about Infamous before we go on to questions, comments, or memories?
I got nothing.
Nothing here.
Nope.
All right. I'll have to pull that up because somebody was not prepared.
Well, that person should feel ashamed of themselves.
He does at the moment. He'll edit some of this out, but yes,
he shouldn't. He should leave it all in.
The spaces don't say it. The rest of it. All right. And from the official Laser Time community, I got from Dan Strothman. At the time this game came out, I worked in the TV station directly across from the Space Needle. It was fun to see it loosely recreated in this game before I scaled the needle to take out the bad guys. Last of Us 2 also recreated that building with a few tweaks on the outside. There's a whole level where you're taking out enemies inside the station, and the interior looks nothing like the real thing. And we forgot to mention this game takes place in Seattle.
Yep.
Doesn't matter. but we did not mention it at all.
All the way across the country from where the first two came.
I like that.
It's also interesting how this time around they actually used like a real city. Because the last time it was
Grand
Empire
Marais.
City and New Marais. So
Which were supposed to be New York and
New Orleans. But still, they use like fictional names instead of using the real world names.
I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know. Again,
Like, why change it? I mean, I get if you're going to go the Grand Theft Auto way, where Liberty City and
Vice City.
Yeah, like that's. But why are you then? I don't know, but it's fine. I mean, I didn't mind. I think they just had maybe more confidence with this game,
or not enough, or just lack of ideas.
All right, and from Kern Whiteman, still holding out hope for a sequel. Yeah,
First Light. First Light.
That's
even though it's a prequel. I know, but.
And we'll be on the show at some point. we'll do it at some point. From Kiefer Folson. Honestly, I loved it. I was always bummed we never got any follow-ups to it, especially since I'm also a fan of the first two games as well. So this game offered a fresh new take. I also love how unconventional the main character's powers were, and that you had smoke base. You gain other new abilities later on. I especially loved the video powers. Thank you, sir. Something else that was always cool was that the main character you played was a Native American as well. My only qualm to the game is I wish the world were bigger, the game were a bit longer, and the villain seemed a little one-note Val Cooper. And he says, as an X-Men fan, this game has moments that remind me of that series as well. I still remember seeing it announced as one of the first games for the PS4 and immediately getting excited over it.
I just wish that the Native American character would have been played by a Native American instead of Troy Baker.
I didn't realize it was Troy Baker, but I'm not surprised. I watched the entire Orblood Super Replay group from Ben Hughes. I'm a little disappointed they deactivated the servers that let you play the paper trail missions. It was a weird way to play it. You had to find the clue in the game, then go to your phone or computer's browser to complete the puzzle, then go back to the game to finish the clue.
I do not remember any of this. So
that sounds cool as hell.
Yeah,
but,
I don't remember that either.
Yeah.
Although I don't think that I had internet back when. Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, you didn't have internet a decade ago?
He lives on an island, so maybe that was it. I don't know. Well, you do live on an island. You live on an island where an orange threw toilet paper to people once. So, hey, I mean, you live in a special place.
Yeah, it's a magical place.
From Quentin Crow, all I have to say is that it sucks that Sucker Punch has left the franchise to die. At least they went out with a bang. This game was absolutely stunning in every way. From Daniel Jones, this was one of the first PS4 games that really felt next-gen. The speed of movement, the fluidity of combat, and the flashy neon visuals all felt like something that wouldn't have been possible on PS3. I wasn't a big fan of the prior Infamous game, but in the early doldrum days of the PS4, I played this and loved it. It would eventually be surpassed by Spider-Man as Sony's premier open-world superhero game, but I still have fond memories of Delson's adventures in Seattle. From Kenny Stolt, great game. By far the most fun to play out of the series since you've got different set of powers, but I actually think Infamous 2 is a better game overall. Mm-hmm. The side quests are lacking in Second Son. The side quests in 2 are also good and varied. That's what makes the difference for me. All right.
Agreed.
I think that the thing is that each game just has its strengths and weaknesses, obviously. I prefer the story of 1. I prefer 2 overall, but 3, I think that it does, or 3, Second Son, I do think that using the neon powers is like the best way to like traverse the world. So I don't know.
This is my favorite of the 3.
I think the real strength of 2 was those side characters. Like Nyx is maybe my favorite like side character out of any game ever. I think she's so good, and Fetch gets close, but I think 2 is just like a better overall game. I agree with I think the last guy, not this guy.
That's fine. And from Brian Brown, I love Delson's little smirk he does whenever you do the orbital drop, except for the one fight right after Reggie dies where he's angry the entire time. I love the little things. I really like this game and love the variety and the powers. Really solid entry in the series. I don't think it's as good as Infamous or Infamous 2, but this game is still great and totally worth playing. From Zach Harris, I think it's a good game, especially for the time when PS4 had a slow start of games. I do think people remembered the reception to it differently, though. And it was clear as day that Sucker Punch wanted to move on from Infamous and its restricted morality system. Pretty weak cast, and everything felt too samey as the other entries, but again, it's still fun. I do think smoke powers are absolutely badass. From Autumn Severe, I always liked the Infamous games. I thought this entry was better than 2, even if it didn't like it as much as 1. The concrete in particular was my least favorite in its whole area. I don't recall the story too much, but I think it's the only time other than Ghosts of Tsushima that the trackpad on the PS4 made a slight bit of sense for a game. The tagging mechanic being the thing that used it. It was unnecessary but novel. And on one hand, I wish we got more than just a DLC spin-off after it, but on the other, I understand Sucker Punch moving to work on something else after 5. Things in the series, if we could just a mainline game still as much. I like Ghost of Tsushima. I'd rather have them dip back into this than do a sequel to that. Well, that's not happening. And from Andrew Brown, it was one of the first open world games surprised me with how short it was. One part because it was so much shorter than 1 and 2. Second part because it was so fun. All right. And from last group, I have a couple, but not as many. So from Giant Bomb. From Brian Strelakis, I recently got into Second Son, part of the parted PS Plus collection of PS4 games. Did that go away?
Yes.
Oh,
yes. Yeah.
Wow. That's not nice of them. After playing through First Light several years ago, Dan Reichert is an NPC/enemy model in both games, I think.
What?
I don't know. I never heard. I mean, I know he's in LA Noir.
Exactly. I know that he's in LA Noir, but I didn't know that he was in this.
I didn't look it up. Just to clarify. I didn't care, to be fair.
If Reichert's in it, then I like it less.
Ouch.
I liked Reichert at one time, but that was... I don't know if if the guy's the same way as he was back when I watched some of those super replays, which I'm assuming he is.
He's much, much worse.
Yeah, then I think I'm good.
I don't even know who that is.
He was an editor at Game Informer, and then he was an editor, I think, at Giant Bomb or something.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Dan Reichert plays a human trafficker in infamous Second Son.
Oh.
Huh.
Okay. He's just a guy who made his personality. He can be a bit of an asshole, I think.
Yeah.
He can be a bit over the top. And that's why I like him.
That's why I liked him when I was younger, when I was in my early 20s.
He needs somebody holding him back. Like, he needs an Alex Navarro, like, keeping him reined in. But right now, he's just running amok over Giant Bomb, and I can't stand him.
Yeah, I don't know how he is nowadays. I just remember him just being irritating Jeff Marchiafava or everybody else at the GI house. So it's like...
That was the time that I knew him back then. I forgot he went to Giant Bomb, and he's still in Giant Bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Well, didn't he leave and he went to WWF? Or?
Yes, he worked
whatever
for
it's called
WWE.
now.
And then I think that it was after what's his name left Giant Bomb. No.
God, his name.
God.
I listened to Giant Bomb a long time ago, and I'm just part of the group mainly to plug said show that we're talking that we're in. But I don't listen to anything Giant Bomb or have any interest in anymore. But I also don't drive for 10 hours a day in a truck sucking up garbage in the middle of the night where I listen to podcasts and needed tons of podcasts to get through the night.
Okay.
That was my job. I drove. My job was to clean up the parking lots at the Mall American. You drive a giant truck with a vacuum hooked up to the back of it, and it's like a pickup truck, and you just drive it around and suck up garbage for hours.
Okay.
Yeah, then you clean that thing out at the end of the day. Woo! I do not miss the smell of that at all. So, all right, a few more comments from Joey Gills. This was a game that got me back to consoles. Roughly in the middle of the PS2 era, I became mostly a PC MMO gamer, but this game brought me back. As consoles finally seemed to have caught up with computer gaming, such a great time with Second Son. From Steve Barton, I think this one benefited from Sucker Punch being located in Seattle, such a fun space to traverse. From Andrew Chase, Delson Rose, an underrated, albeit underdeveloped character. Second Son is one of the only games I can play as an indigenous main character, and the only game where it isn't their defining characteristic. Delson was from the res, had mixed feelings about it, and came to grips with his role in his community and the greater community as well. Okay.
It would have been way more interesting if he had like that conflict of like, you know, what he wanted to be or what he didn't want to be as a Native American. Yeah. Like, I don't know. He's just so bland to me.
That's fair. From Chris Lichos, it's fun, but Infamous 2 was the best. Really wish they'd re-release those first two since it's rough going back to PS3 frame rates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good luck with that one. But I agree, 100%. From Stephen Kess, I was so excited I ordered the deluxe edition that came with Delson's beanie. No regrets.
I have that too.
Nice.
I'm wearing it right now.
It's glued to your head too?
It's too small for my head. It came really small.
Oh, no.
That's because they didn't want you to wear it. They just wanted you to put it on a shelf and go, hey, look what I have. From Andrew Rafosky, the only negative thing I have to say about this one is that you get the dope-ass concrete powers way too late for them to be useful. They're so much fun that the game is an absolute blast.
Dope-ass concrete power.
We found the one guy.
We found the one guy who likes the video powers, and now we found the one guy who likes the concrete powers.
Wow. There's nothing wrong with any of the powers. You like what you like.
I didn't get to experiment with the concrete powers. I didn't like them in the boss fight, and at that point the game is 100%ed, so I was like, well, turn game off and play next game. So, but I'm a little bummed that they're so late that I couldn't play with them. That bummed me out, but then again, I didn't have to be done with the game, but I was, because that's me. From Derek Flores, one of the first games I played for the PS4 and remains one of my favorite for that gen. Still think it's one of the best looking too. And from last comment from Frank Rosario, really underrated game. Shame they stopped making these games. Yeah, I agree. I'm also upset that this never got re-released, because it really, I mean, if you can play it on PS5, that's fine, but I mean, like, the series, it needs to come back.
Yeah, they should do a collection of all 4 games.
They won't.
No, but
they would separate it into Infamous 1 and 2 and Second Son and First.
I mean, that's fine. I wouldn't buy it anyway, but
for $60 each.
I think there is a possibility of, at some point, there will be enough people remembering these games, and then they'll put out the collection of the old ones to like see if people are interested enough to make, because they've done that a bunch lately.
I don't know.
They did it with No More Heroes too. It was like,
but that's not Sony. Remember, No More Heroes is Suda 51.
Yeah. But I just mean, like, as far as stuff like that goes, stuff that wasn't like super popular.
No, but No More Heroes 3 was announced, and then they did 1 and 2 after. They're like, oh yeah, we're bringing 1 and 2 over because people asked for it.
Oh, I thought
Travis Strikes Again. And then 3, and then people were like, we want 1 and 2 as well. And they said, oh, yeah, well, in addition to 3, we're also bringing 1 and 2 over.
Oh, okay. Then maybe I'm thinking of that. Because I know that they did something to, like, see if people cared enough to make a 3 at all.
Yeah, there's definitely a couple of game franchises that they've done that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But even look at what Sony did with Uncharted, right? Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy got PS5, but they didn't bring 1, 2, and 3. Even the PS4 versions, they could have just brought those in and did a whole nice collection, but they didn't even do that. Like, and it's like, why? Like, and you're charging $60 or whatever for it, or $40, whatever it is. Like, do 1, 2, and 3. Do a whole collection. I don't know why you do these half-ass collections.
Because none of the big 3 do.
And also because people buy them. Like, if people didn't buy them, they wouldn't do it. But people buy them. And I will say that remaster of The Last of Us Part 1 is maybe one of the best looking games I've ever seen.
It was totally not necessary, though.
No. It was totally not necessary, but it is gorgeous and it plays great.
I gotta play that game again someday for this podcast. I just do not want to, but I should.
It's fine. I actually prefer 2.
I've only played 1 once on PS3 pre-podcast. It was my first game when I got back into gaming.
I think I'll get Part 1 remake when it's like $2 at a garage sale or something like that.
I mean,
I don't want to give Sony more money for it.
I'll get it free on PS Plus.
Sure you will.
I got it free from a manager at GameStop, so I didn't give them money. I guess they sent him out like to the GameStop managers, and he's like, "I'm not going to play this. Do you want it?" And I'm like, "Absolutely." And then I played through it, and it's really good. That is the problem. The problem is it's really good.
All right, and I want to give away a code before we go on to Shelf Stacker Box, and this is for Steam. The code is for Sniper Ghost Warrior Trilogy, and you have to not own any of those 3 or this code will not work.
Oh, Jesus.
I know that for a fact. So...
Oh,
this is.
I bought it in a pack. I'm like, I don't own one of them. Maybe, and nope, it's like you own one of these products. I'm like, no, I don't care, but I don't own it. Yeah, you have to. So you can't own any Sniper Ghost Warrior game of this trilogy, which is 1, 2, and 3, and you get the DLC. The code is HOFJCFLBIP54BZ. And that is the code for Steam Sniper Ghost Warrior Trilogy. All right. And let's go to Shelf Stacker Box. And we'll get the negative out of the way. Colby, what about you?
It's not going on the shelf, but it'll go on the middle tier. It's a middle tier game.
That's fine.
It's mid, as the kids say.
As the kids say, it's mid, which is fine. It's fun to play, but there's lots of games now that play sort of the same and are just better games. I have no real ill feelings towards this game, but it is very bland.
Okay. And what about you, Barry?
Putting it on the shelf. I've enjoyed the series. I enjoyed this game, and it is something where down the road, I might play it again, or now that I have a son, might be like, hey, you might enjoy this and share it with him. So keeping it on the shelf.
All right. And I'll go next. I'm going to put this on the shelf also. I went into this game with low expectations, to be fair, and I had a blast playing it. I never 100% an open world game, and I couldn't put this down. I fell in love with this game. I woke up early on Thanksgiving to get up and play this game, so that don't happen normally. And I woke up 6 in the morning when I can't sleep. Let's go play Infamous Second Son and beat it today. So, and it was also an incentive to play it while my wife was sleeping so she wouldn't get mad at me. But, so,
I do find it funny when you say you're going to shelve a game while you also say, I beat it and then immediately deleted it.
Well, that's just me. That's not. I mean, I play a game every week for the show, I gotta keep up at it, and so I
know it's just funny.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean though. But no, it's going on the shelf. I freaking love this game. This was so much fun, and I'm so happy to finally have played it after buying 2 copies and waiting 9 years. So, and Emanuel, what about you?
Yeah, it's going to stack. Like it's not a bad game. It's not like back in when it released, it was like, hey, it's a kind of a great game. I still had my problems then, which was Delsin and the story. I just don't think that it's the best thing in either case. I still say that First Light is much better than this game because it focuses on Fetch, which is a much better character in Second Son and in that game. And the Neon Powers, which is the best powers, in my opinion, in this game, is the soul power in that one, and you get to be way more powerful because of that. So yeah, it's going in the stack. Like, again, I wasn't as jarring as I thought it would be to go to transition from Spider-Man 2 to this game, but yeah, I wasn't motivated, honestly, to run around the entire city, even though it is fairly shorter than the other games. So at least it's better than Festival of Blood.
Oh God, thank God. Oh, okay. All right, I should introduce what we're talking about next week. Next week, you can hear me talk about Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. We finally get another Assassin's Creed on the show.
Ah, the best Assassin's Creed game.
My opinion, yes, too. At least up to what I played. I still love that game, but I've never gotten past. I played up to 4. And I stopped when Unity. I played Rogue, but I stopped at Unity.
So you played the best one.
Yeah, that's what I've heard people say. But
4 is fantastic as well.
I love 4. 3
4 is the second best one.
But I love Brotherhood. It's such a good game. And Michael, where can people find you at?
Oh, they can find me at Jack Billings Presents Haunted Apartment Complex if they want to hear a scripted podcast that takes place in an alternate universe where I play a ghost and my co-host is a vampire. You can also listen to This Bizarre Adventure, which is sort of about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but mostly two unhinged leftists calling you names and talking about how terrible life is under capitalism.
And Barry, where can people find you at?
You can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky and Fuse over at Hawk Hellfire. You could also find me over at Nintendo Fuse on social media, as well as youtube.com/NintendoFuse and nintendofuse.com, where we do our own bi-weekly podcast every Monday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and we do that live on YouTube and Twitch, as well as PremiumEditionGames.com, where you could pre-order right now our Series 7 titles physically for the Switch, which is Lonesome Village, Sunshine Anthology, and Anuchard, as well as get a ton of in-stock games right now. So you could make great Christmas gifts or Hanukkah gifts or whatever you celebrate, just gifts or just great games for you to play. So go check them out and pick up some support physical today. And you can find us at Premium Edition 1 on Twitter and everywhere else at Premium Edition Games.
By the way, that Lonesome Village game looks really cool.
It's so much fun.
I need to buy that on Steam and play it, but it looks really cool. I was about to call you Leon and Commander and all. Amanda, where can people find you at?
You could have, because, I have used that one too.
But
yeah, you can find me over on twitch.tv/Commander Lionheart and youtube.com/Commander Lionheart. I have neither streamed or posted on either recently because this year life has been hell for me. But hey, the last stream of the year should be the yearly drink along for the Game Awards, where me and the other goovers just sit around, watch the stupid ass Game Awards, and every time they say world premiere, we take a shot. So
I heard they're trying to transition away from that.
Really? Oh, fuck. Well, now I'm going to have to find something else to take a shot to.
Do they say it a lot? I never watched the Game Awards.
Oh, yeah. Every
yeah.
world premiere.
Every single goddamn time, even if it's a game you've already seen.
What's a world premiere trailer? The first time you've ever seen this trailer. It's the world premiere.
Yes.
The only time I've ever watched any game of the year was when I put it on Twitch for 2 hours to get a variant in Marvel Snap. That's the only time I've ever done it.
Damn it, Mike. We just went 2 hours without you talking about goddamn Marvel Snap.
I can't help it. I was playing it earlier too, by the way. I had to get my missions caught up before they reset it at 9. So, I love that game. All right. And if you enjoyed this episode, there's over 550 episodes of this podcast. You can go listen to our giant catalog. If you want to hear the other Infamous stuff, go on Podbean, our website, and type in Infamous. You will find our episodes as long as you're on our page. And go listen to those, and if you like to, and go listen to everything else. We do movies, comics, TV shows, whatever people convince me to talk about. So go listen to our giant catalog. And if you want to support the show, we do have a Patreon. For a little dollar, you can vote in our Patreon polls. We have one every month, so definitely go check that out. Sometimes, too. Sometimes. So go support the show for a little as $1. We have a Discord. Please join our Discord. You see a link in the show notes to that. We're a good group, I think, so join us. We always need more people to talk, and you can suggest things for the show on there too, and I do get to them eventually. So eventually I will get to them. So definitely go do that. I want to give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro, courtesy of Helena at Hell Hassphere. You can follow her on TikTok and Twitch. You'll see a link to her to all her stuff in the link tree down in the show notes. So definitely go check her out. I want to give a shout out to my buddy Bill Tucker. Did the MCU movies with me. He's been on this podcast many, many times. Definitely go check him out at Gamer Looks at 40. He's on a hiatus till March or April or one of those, but he has plenty of episodes. Go check him out. And you'll hear a ton of him if you listen to the show a lot. And I want to give a shout out to Nomad to Fantasy, another great podcast. Definitely go check them out. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads for some reason, TikTok, and YouTube. Audio only, but we are on all those things. Please follow us, like us, subscribe, whatever. And we will all see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Have a good one.